Okay, so I got up this morning. I think I slept like 12 hours. I was, man, I would have kept sleeping except for my shoulder was hurting. And so I got up and it was 5:30. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've slept so long. But I still feel like I could sleep more. It's crazy how much that stuff just exhausts you. But, and I just see so much about how time is the creation to keep it like, man, this stuff is so hard to explain, but it's just so clear once people start seeing. I just saw this channeler and she's like, more people, channelers have to realize they're channelers. No, everybody's got to realize that they've got all the stuff inside them. You don't need channelers to tell you what the information is out there. I can talk about my information, and my information may not have anything to do with it. My lessons may not be other people's lessons. I can talk about what I'm told, what I'm taught, what they communicate to me. And, it's like people don't get, too. Like, I did my TikToks first this morning because there was something that, this morning when I got up and looked. So I got up to look at my, when I get up in the morning, well, first I got to do all my stuff, like what Stella wants. Stella comes first. So I got to do what Stella wants. And then once I get to sit down and get my cup of tea and whatnot, I will look at my notifications and stuff and see, if anybody's commented, so I can talk then. And, sometimes I do through the day too. I don't just wait till the morning. I do it when I'm at home. I do it a lot more. And anyways, but that's what I do in the morning is, get up and see like what are my emails, which is just nonstop refinance stuff and solar panel stuff. It's just nonstop in my email. Like it's mental. All these, it's like every Mindy, Tom, Dick, and Harry has an email. They all come in these names, like where you think like, is this somebody I know? And then you read, it's like, no, solar. Most of us don't even communicate by email anymore, but I do go in to see like if somebody's commented or something. And because I've had some people, like somebody who used to be on here who used to talk, or used to, I don't know, be a part of our community. Oh, funny, that is kind of just like yesterday what I was talking about, because I would talk about stuff all the time. And I always said what I thought about. I've never hidden what I think about like this whole way of looking at life through demons and all that stuff. I don't believe that. I've argued with my mom since I was a child about it. I don't believe in demons. And I have always been hyper aware of the reality that other people are not aware of. And there's not demons. It's not... People are so scared of stuff. Even the fucking eternal life is like, you got to battle the demons. How are you going to get there? It's like, stop thinking there's demons. And then it's a free ride. Just open the doors. But, people have their own battles, their own things. And some people, micro, macro, you can't see it in here. You can pull it out and then it's a demon in front of you. But you got to realize that all the stuff that you're battling is an eternal battle. It's not devils trying to get you. But there was somebody who got so mad at me. She used to email me long emails. She lived alone and she was very lonely and she was very scared. And she's very stuck in her fear. And I think she heard things that she wanted to hear, but I think that is a part of what we're witnessing in ourselves, is how much of that we are. And we've got to take control of all that. And that is what my TikToks were this morning, because I went on to say something. Because I was so excited when I got up to check them. And yesterday when I went home and I looked on the TikTok, I had another USA terms of agreement thing. They keep sending these, so I don't know if they keep changing them. It's just, to me, it's just silly. So silly. The terms of service, and then agree. So you either agree or you don't play, I guess. I don't know. I don't get what the fuck. with this shit, why they keep sending it. To me, it's just a fucking game. It's just to get people to pay attention, to look. And the people who do are more affected by stuff. I'm just ignoring a lot of shit and just letting it play out, because if I get too in it, it is tedious. It makes you want to fucking pull your eyeballs and your hair out of your head because of how people just waking up. It's fucking tedious as fuck. Like that's it. That's tedious as fuck. That's it. But so when I went on and I had a video, I had a bunch of comments, and so I was like, oh, which video, or wonder how many views that is to have this many comments. And then I went on there and looked, and it was like over 3,000, it was almost 4,000, I think. It was like 3892 or something like that. It could be way different. Numbers are just like, blah. But I'm positive it was 3,000 something. And then the other ones were all like 300, 400 and stuff. And I was like, oh, maybe this new terms of service was releasing some more censorship. Maybe there was something, like, I don't know. I mean, all this stuff, it just continues to just go. And it's like, roller coaster, up and down, up and down. But, for it to get so many views. But so anyways, I wanted to comment about that. And then they put something else in my head. So I was doing a couple of those videos. And always, while they're downloading, I'll see what other people are saying. And sometimes it'll be the same fucking video. And it will just bring up all these things. And I know they do it on purpose. I know it's not me. I feel like I'm not even fucking here. I'm the hands that are being used or something, is the voice that is being used. And it's so trippy is how much more, like even this morning when I went in, and I started to do my eyebrow stuff and put on my mascara. And I was like, this is weird. Like just putting it on, nothing seems real. That's all I can tell you. I don't know how to explain it, but it's as you're awakening, when you start getting into these places of nothing feels real, just go with it. Don't let yourself ever feel like you're losing your mind. Just no matter, just keep on being like, okay, this is just part of it. This is just part of it. This is just part of it. Because, everything is just part of it. I mean, we aren't going crazy, it's not like half truth, but we're all crazy together. No, this is real. This is really happening. This is really letting go. Like our mind was anchored to a reality, and we've taken that anchor and we're in fucking open space, man. Our fucking minds are in open space. They're in open water, and it's a scary place. Like I said on the Gaia channel on Mateus DeStefano, he said this idea where everybody thinks like the highest dimension that we can reach is this heaven. And he said it's more of a scary place because it is no judgments, nothing. He said you go into it and it's such empty space that you feel nothing. And that is the drive to understand who and what you are. That is the motivation to incarnate into experiences, which I believe are just multiplex theaters all over the place in different realities, so that you can go in and experience, what is it like here? What does this happen? What is life like here? What do I do if I'm here? What kind of life can I create here? That is what a soul is all about. It's all about trying to understand themselves. It is, but right now we are shifting and having to release everything that we've ever known to be true. And so that puts you out into that open space, open water. And you have this wanting, like the soul is like reaching out all these tentacles, trying to hold on to what was there. Like how I had referred it as about like barnacles on a ship. There's some people so dependent. It's like they're a parasite to life because they are so scared of themselves. But there's a lot of misery, but a lot of manipulation on here to create that in the being. So the being has the abilities to change that, to see things differently. But it's such a huge process of, understanding yourself, letting go of things, forgiveness. Like each of those things sounds like, oh, well, yeah, I'll just do that. Like all these people who think like, well, I healed last year, everything's good, it took me a couple months, but I'm good. It's like, that's ego, man. That is ego. Like what I found is, and, being in any kind of healing population, you'll see it over and over and over, where people get hit with another thing, another thing, another thing, because you have to heal the one thing so you can prepare to get to the next. It's like building up your immune system. So you're going to get into harder things and harder things. You start out where you think your ass is kicked, but you got to get into harder things. So then you have more big things that will hit you. But then it will start to begin to turn where you will begin to understand your process. You'll begin to understand your control and your ability to look at things and how you see things. So it's a development that occurs. It's not just like, you have to relive every fucking moment of your existence throughout time and heal it. No, it's not. There's like some heavy things that you have carried with you. And there's people here who will come into your orbit who are here to help you release it. And it comes in a lot of triggers. And, I want to say to me 23 is, yesterday when you were saying, you want to start being, having your community building, you want to start meeting people. Everybody does. Like that is, I hear that so often. Everybody wants to start having, other weirdos to sit and talk to. Everybody's fucking sick of talking about the goddamn politics and the weather and, people want to, go deeper into this world, into this existence, start being more in alignment with people. Everybody has this desire. And that is why some of these, like it's already happening, but it is certain vibrations. That is like while I was traveling, it's like you go into one place, you're in a totally its own world, its own time, its own everything. I'm telling you, it's so fucking trippy. But you got to get out there and do it to experience it. But so just the drives alone. So to me, I'm driving like, it would be like kind of essentially from Dallas to Austin. And so to go from where I'm at in the mountains down to Yakima, except for it's a different kind because I'm going through the mountains and, mine's all like a crazy drive. And, but it's about like that same distance. And so, and then to Spokane, that's like going to from Dallas to Houston. And, so it is like that same kind of thing. So I kind of go around and stuff, but all these drives, so you're way out like that. And, I don't know in Dallas now how much it's more built out going out from all those cities, but they're fucking, Texas is under attack hardcore. Like the temperatures that are in Texas, it's just nonstop hitting Texas. And I know that there has been a lot of, like, when you think of all these different places, the energy that's behind it, like, what was that called? The Alamo, the battles that were done in these places to take the lands from the people that were free and to take control and to kill them and all of that stuff. There's a lot of bad energy that is being. And keep in mind, there's a lot of people who they don't remember the parts they played in these other realities that are going through these experiences. I mean, it's not about the experience. It's not about a punishment. It's about going full circle. And it can be full circle in so many different ways because it's bringing different things up and bringing different things out in people. And, one thing about with the building the community thing is keep in mind that a lot of these people, they're going to come. They're not going to come in a package that you once considered like, I think a lot of people went around picking their friends with like, oh, they're attractive. They're funny. I like them. I'm going to go over there and hang out with them and like at work. I really like them. We never were really getting to know people. It was very superficial, shallow. Oh, they dress cute. I'm going to be their friend. I'm going to see if they want to go to lunch, go shopping. Everything was very shallow and superficial. We weren't deep. We were just picking like, oh, they seem nice. They seem fun. And then everybody just stayed up there in the shallow. It was when things started getting real, is when people started showing their true colors, when people started showing, how they felt, and people started being like, what the hell? And relationships started falling apart. I mean, their goddamn marriage is built on that. There's so many fucking old people who stay married who hate each other, but they're so scared, or just, the rules they got to follow or whatever. That's their journey. It's their stuff to learn. You're going to spend this beautiful, valuable time that you have on this planet, that you could be out smelling flowers and taking pictures of rainbows and climbing trees and, jumping and skipping. And you're going to spend it being miserable with somebody, fighting and arguing. That's a choice. Those are things that people are working out. It's not for us to decide. And that when I was going around, you go through all these pockets of vibration. So you're going through just the drive alone. And some people's energy goes far beyond their car. You can feel them coming. Like their energy, and that energy right now is not of love. That strong energy, that strong, determined energy is something that needs to be purged. But you can feel it, man. You can feel it in people. So just the drive alone is its own existence. That's its own portal, its own thing. And it is controlled because we're told we have to do it. Now, what was that? Yes, last night, Allison Co video popped up. Motherfucking, if she wasn't saying the same shit I was saying, like I'm telling you, when you start getting in communicate, it just doesn't stop, where they try and help you understand. And so I had been talking about it. Then I saw that Bashar guy explain it in a little bit different way. So then I was like, okay. Then I started seeing it. Then I started experiencing it. Then she comes on and says, that's what's going to happen. That's what is going to be. We all start getting into our own vibration, our own community, like bubbles of existence. And you go out, she said that it's kind of like you just go out of yours and you just jump into another one. That is like this portal. That is like what I was saying. That is what I was saying about them getting us into this, where I said, I think the traveling is going to be more of like Star Trek. I can't remember, what did I know all these words, but I've got so much stuff going in my head right now. Like it's fucking full. Like it's a popcorn thing. The lid's coming off and it's all going out. There's no way I can keep up with all this. It's, fuck. Okay. And so so right now, like what I went and what I experienced. So the drive alone, which you can zone out. Like, it's weird. Like, there was a part of it where I started, after the river one, and I was driving. You're just out in this desert, but there is turns and twists and stuff. It's out in central Washington. It's just like, it's not the plains, but it's very dry. And, but that's where the farms are too. They have huge watering systems. Fuck. I bet you all that fucking shit. Let's put something where we need to water it all the time. Let's not put it, but it's supposed to rain here all the time. Central Washington doesn't rain here all the time. It rains over on the west side all the time. No, the east side the west side all the time, where I'm at. And I think it had a big rainstorm while I was gone. I was like, oh, hell yeah, I wasn't here for that. See? Like, you are where you're supposed to be. And so when I was driving, though, when I was really tired, there's some trucks up in front of me or some stuff, and all of a sudden it turned into something else. My eyes were like, it was going too deep. It was going way too deep, where I would have been asleep. I couldn't, it's like I have to stay awake to drive. But you also don't have to be, well, I'm not going to say it like to everybody, but I think everybody has probably had the experience of getting somewhere and go, God, I don't even remember driving here. How did I get here? Because that is kind of like, we don't really have to pay attention like we think. When my daughter, I freaked her out, like, 'cause we got out of the car or something, and I don't remember if I had put my seatbelt on yet or whatever. And I said, yeah, this is some bullshit. How did I word it? Because it was like really got her. She's like, what? How can you say seatbelts don't save lives? They save lives all the time. And I said, no, they don't. The seatbelt has nothing to do with it. Destiny has to do with it. You're either going to die or you're not going to die. The seatbelt is an illusion. It doesn't do shit for you. And she goes, yeah, but some people get hurt. And I said, yeah, but when you get hurt, it is because you have got something to learn. That's why you get hurt. It's to take you down. It's to make you stop what you're doing. It's to give you a time out. It's forced upon you. Change is forced. Just like when I got my brain injury. You know how many people go in and get surgery and don't have any fucking thing happen? Anything that happens to you is for a reason, and it's for a purpose to change, to get you from stopping doing what you were doing. Because any crisis you go through changes you. So, but a seatbelt does not fucking save your life. It's ridiculous. These are the kind of programming things that they've put into us. Just the fact that they tell us that we need to drive and we need to use time. And then they've got times so associated with that motherfucking map thing. Like, tell me motherfucking how that goddamn thing can tell me exactly when I'm going to get home. Like, I'm driving through traffic and shit. It changed like by 2 minutes. I've been before where there has been an accident that happened. It must have been happened right in front of where I was, and it had changed the time. But I don't know. When you start understanding about time and energy and when you start seeing things on a different level, you'll see what I mean. Just everything, you'll start being like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And you just start seeing different. And so to me, all of the drive is putting us out in a land of portals, a land where they don't have any control. I mean, they've put their little freeway, their little highway. It's like to keep us in the portal region. It is like, you know, like everything is like this frequency and stuff and vibration. And so different beings can travel by different frequencies. We are at a low one. So it's almost like, I think we're really going through tunnels, portals of stuff. And we're not when we're out there driving, their freeway system is not just, it's like slowing, retarding our movement. Is to control it, but they have to do it to keep us in the illusion. Because if all of a sudden they said, oh yeah, just go outside, just jump, don't where you want to go, just take off, jump, you'll be there. That, and what she was saying in the Allison Code thing is that kind of, that's how it was going to start being. And the whole time I'm driving, I'm like fighting myself because I know that we don't have to do that, but I don't know how to do different. And so, a lot of times, they'll just like sit back and relax. Let's have a chat and we'll take over, we'll drive, don't worry. And then there'll be a weird interaction or something. But all those weird interactions give you something to talk about. Like they're for a purpose. And so, so when I was gone and like go to my mom's, it's like its own fucking space bubble. And it doesn't just include her house. It's not like I just go in and no, because her reality, her orbit includes, George and Linda and Sue and Sam and Betsy. And, she has her reality. And, like I said, while we're doing stuff, she's focused on what do they think? What are they going to say? And all this, they're going to see, and so she's going through that right now. And that, my participation even, it was so trippy. I'm going to be so excited when more people get to this stuff, when we're talking on these other levels. Oh, yeah. But keep in mind, yeah, when you are going and finding your people, they may not come in the package you're expecting because you're above that now. You don't need people to come into a package. You're learning to accept everybody. So the people who you first start identifying as your circle may be out of what you consider like, man, I would have never been friends with somebody like that before. I mean, they could be, an 18-year-old gamer. Like you just don't know. But that's where you got to start opening yourself up to connect on a deeper level so that you can find your people. So, anyways, and a lot of the people who are in these orbits right now, these vibration places, some of them they haven't had to do like they're, like my mom has a lot of stuff to awaken to, a lot, and I can see her fight it. I can see her in denial, just the fact that that day that I went over there and she said, I just want to make sure that when I rapture, you tell everybody that's what happened. I raptured. I did not leave in a space alien ship. It's like, all right, mom, whoever said you were leaving in a space alien ship, like, what the hell are you talking about? And I don't know. Does she think like I believe that space alien ship, like if that goes down, that is something that a lot of people from QHHT things were saying, that when this big frequency thing, this solar flash happens, that a lot of beings that are not at that level, and you can see as all of these energies come in, like people get taken down. People get angry. I see people out there who have channels who are content creators who are out there spreading the love. But then, these things, these big energies happen, like the Schumann thing, all these different things happen and it takes them down. And, because you have stuff that you have to process. So you can be out there spreading all light and love and all of your stuff. But if you're not processing your shit, it's still going to be very uncomfortable when you're going through this stuff. And a lot of people use the distraction of saving others, so they're not working on their shit. So a lot of this energy is like, makes people feel really, really all sorts of things. Angry, sick, emotional, reject, just all the things. So you can see when a huge wave of that comes in, if you aren't feeling good about yourself, how that is going to affect you. So it's like so much love comes in, so much light comes in, that people who aren't there is too uncomfortable. So they leave on ships. That is what, but I don't know where my mom, to me, it's like she's having an internal battle. She's got to keep her program running of religion, but all this other stuff is coming out. And so, you just, for a lot of us who have people who are very determined to stay in their story, we just got to watch how it plays out, and some people, I'll tell you for sure, it is going to be a traumatic instance for them to realize. I mean, there's a lot of times when I think like maybe that my mom, rapturing will be the best thing for her. Maybe it's going to be too much for her to take on, but maybe she's going to turn around and shock the fuck out of me. And she's going to let go of all that shit and she's going to move forward. That is where each soul shows themselves. You're not just showing yourself, you're going to show the world who you are. So, but there's no shame in, it being too hard and leaving. Yeah, it's not like somebody's doing something wrong. Jesus Christ, you have goddamn eternity. And, this is a hard place to be. And this is a hard role to play, to move from one existence into another when you're so confused about your existence at all. So, but so at my mom's, her vibration is still, she has a lot of toxic behaviors, but she's learning, with her boundaries and stuff, and because of the conversations we had while we were out there. And there was a lot of times, Mom, you just got to have a boundary. Mom, you got to, she said, oh, it is just that way that we all used to live, about what other people are thinking and saying, and all of, pleasing others and stuff like that. It's a real trap. And so many people are just getting to that point of really seeing other people's toxic behaviors, but it's very hard to hurt somebody's feelings, or to stand up for yourself, or whatever. We've been programmed. A good person is basically, just a doormat. So, anyways, but you're not doing any soul any other favor. And I believe that they know that too, because we got to push each other. We got to say things sometimes that are uncomfortable to us. And we know it's going to be something that somebody's not going to want to hear, but it's important for them to hear it. But you don't use it as weapons. You use it as kindness, as a gentle reminder, as, speaking of how something affects you. And it doesn't mean somebody has to change to just please you. Maybe you saying it out loud, you will catch yourself going like, yeah, why do I need them to do that? Like, why do I, we're all in this process of learning. So you don't just be, thinking everybody else has to do things differently. You got to realize that you do too. And always keep an open ear to your own self. That's that mindfulness, going into a state of reflection to really understand where you're coming from. What is your purpose? Why are you telling somebody that? How do you really feel about it? Do you feel good about it or bad about it? Is that a toxic way? Where does that feeling come from? It's just this getting down to the nitty gritty of yourself and really getting in there and understanding yourself, And so all these people are all in the process of it, but everybody's at a different vibration. There isn't, and then going from one to the next, I can't just jump, but it feels like a jump. It already was feeling like I was jumping from different reality bubbles, where it felt like I was going into this one person's, and space and time, everything changes. Like where I kept going, it is about like the sun comes up and the sun goes down, and what you do in between, you don't need to sit there. It isn't like, well, if we get this done and we get done by 1 or 2, like this is programming, this is work stuff. Because when you go in and you just focus on what you want to do and you just start doing it, the time has no, you just decide, I'm going to do that and I'm going to do it until I finish. I'm going to do that. And then you just do it. It has nothing to do with time. And you can do what you think you're going to do. Don't think about the time. I don't know how, this is something where everybody's relationship with time is going to be their own. To set yourself apart from it, to let go of the control of it over your mind, over your energy, over your existence. But everybody will have their own. But in mine, I'm definitely seeing like, fuck, I can just take on a project, ignore the time, ignore all of that stuff, and you focus on the project. The project just becomes its own thing. You go into a different time space, letting go, not paying attention. Right there, you'll find yourself in a different time and space, focused on what you have to do, not the time that you have to do it. They were the ones who were getting us down to this incremental, we'll pay you for this much of your time. And then in your time, we're even going to go smaller. In this amount of your time, you're going to do this. In this amount of time, you're going to do this. Oh, you need a break. We're going to give you time for a break. Oh, right here, you need time to eat too. Gosh, so we're going to make you do some more work. Then you're going to take a break to eat. So they got us so down to little boxes of time, to schedule our day around. And then we take that program and we start running it in our regular lives. And we start thinking everything has to do with time. It is so fucking different. So different. Once you let go of that and you start going into existence in the here and now, in the project is a good grounding technique to get you into it for me. But it could be painting, it can be anything. And like I said, like if I get into painting, I can sit there and, paint and just be like, and Stella is a part of my development stage in this spiritual part. Like, motherfucking, I can't even tell you how she is big. For how many times I thought she was gonna die. She is, I'm just pretty flabbergasted, like, how strong she has become and how smart and determined, like, oh my God, she has just grown and grown and grown. And I'm just, look, I don't, even when we got to my daughters, after all of this stuff, like, just her development of her sitting there and watching, like, she's catching on to this whole thing. She sees me as very important. Like, I go to these places and we're doing these big things, and it's just like, my mom, like, they need my mom. Like, she's fucking, I know how she is looking at me like, I'm just going to have to sit back here. Like, my mom is an important person. I just love her so much. But we got to my daughter's, like, the last leg before we were coming home. And her dog was up on the balcony. And the dogs at the apartments get so worked up when the dogs are up on these balconies and bark at each other. The dogs, they just go crazy. Like, how they get up there, motherfucker. And they start jumping and try to get up. I have seen Stella jump up now. I've seen her stand up at a table. I have seen her climb up on a couch. And when we got to there's 3 stairs. She ran up the stairs. I don't think I've ever seen her run upstairs. I don't think ever. It was cute as fuck. But oh my God. And she's getting so much attention everywhere we go. And sometimes I think, like, I think there's a lot of, like, guys who you're out, and if you if you don't have, like, a typical old lady body or typical old lady hair, then they like, they want to get a better look. And then I think that they get disappointed. Oh man, she could be my grandma or something. Like, it's like, we better start changing how you look at ladies. Don't stop looking at them all as, like, something to fuck. Start looking at them. And I really like this one, as he kept trying to say something and got closer and closer. And then he's like, okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Like, yeah, you better learn some respect, boy. So anyways, but Stella has just totally impressed me. And then, she just, oh my gosh, she's doing so good. And the boron thing, there's somebody out there saying, like, we can overdose ourselves on the boron. So I've reduced it a lot, because she's saying it's way more milligrams in the thing. And it'll start doing really good for a while, but then you will get yourself, like, mineral poisoned. Like, you'll get too much of something. So I am giving, like, a really tiny speck in Stella's food each day, like a really tiny speck. And she's doing so good. Like, I can't even, fuck. It's crazy. And, but anyways, so back to the bubbles. So in my mom's space bubble, it was a totally different vibration. And it was really cool when I was in it and I could see the part I could play and how much I fucking helped her by just doing, like, a weekend of jobs. Like, it was hard. It was hard work, but I don't shy away from hard work. Like, I wish that I could daily find a really hard job. I think it's so much better for you than going to the gym. But, hard work and taking care of yourself. Also, in the Allison Code thing, that is what the lady was saying too. Yeah, you still work. You're still working, but you're working for you. It's a different kind of work. And, so, yeah, that is what I keep saying. But it is the muscles you use to do your work and the muscles you use at the gym and your job are completely different. It's all stages of development are completely developing you into somebody different. Like, just doing this stuff is why I don't have an old lady's body. Is why I have, you keep yourself young, by doing things to stay young, to focus on you being young. You keep doing things. But what I was going to say was Stella, she will interrupt me and pull me out of my own containment center that I can create of my own creativity, where I get myself in a groove, a bubble, whatever you want to think of it, where I can just stay there doing that, and then she'll come and make a demand of me. Like, I know her demands aren't just assholery. I know that it has to do with keeping me on task. I mean, she's my spirit animal. We're here to work together and anybody who has a spirit animal around them right now, like, I think you're seeing, like, you're helping them, they're helping you. It's like, it's fucking cool as shit. I love, like, I'm a part of her ascension. And this is so crazy, is how she haunted me. It's gonna make me cry. It's how she haunted me in my beginning of my life, where I had to replay that fear, that vision, that last living memory, I guess, of me being killed. Like, I don't have the memory of being eaten, but you leave your body, by then. But it's always the leading up part. Like, I always know that it's the torturous part. It's the leading up. It's the, you're about to die. You know what I'm gonna do to you, and all that. That's the fucking adrenaline, horrible rushing. So but her stalking me, and she was so huge. She was such a huge presence. This tiger, and it was relentless. And I know that she killed me. I mean, it was every fucking night, that dream. It was horrible. And I just had no idea what it all meant until she came back into my life and came back in as a protector. And then, start getting more visions of other things, like I said, like me as a girl or a woman or something. I don't even know. I may not have even been on this planet. But there was such a thing of hers and mine relationship, and I would be walking her. She was a horse. And, but I had her from the time I was young until I was older, because I had those visions. And then the visions of, an Indian brave. I remember, like, that has been a significant part of my life in who I am, like the DNA part of me that has a lot to do with this. This is some stuff they pull me back to all the time. But I think it was something like I had this bird for hunting or something, and that would have been Stella. But all of the things are still like your own storybooks or something. It is weird too. It's weird how, because last night they were giving me this vision, this understanding of something I was saying yesterday. And so then when I went to bed, then they, or after that or something, they were showing me how it is the other soul remembering and agreeing to go into the same story as you. So it is, but it's a process that will always happen. Like, you don't have to do anything to cause it, because everything is already destined. So it happens automatically. But it is the soul remembering who and what they are and who they're there to. So there's a whole thing about that. So there's a whole thing about all that happening right now. And people going and finding other places they want to be in other communities. And you'll start seeing, like, if you live way out, rural or whatever, you'll start seeing communities build up, around you probably. But it depends, because if you live in a place that is not on the new map, I would think you're not going to see people building up around you. You'll see more of it will keep being people keep leaving and keep going other places. And because the places where things are going to build that are going to sustain are going to be on the map that's for the future, not for, so keep that in mind too. But when the people are going and building communities, and you'll start finding people are like-minded. Like, I don't know when my mom's like orbit, like all these people, like these are all, people, her soul group, they all had things to learn from each other. And so however that plays out, and some people, they may have to leave for friend groups. You may have to push people away. Just like with an alcoholic, how you have to, at some point set a boundary and say, hey, I can't have you in my life. You're too chaotic. All the different things that, you have to set that boundary and tell the person, I can't deal with you when you're alcohol, abuse, or however you want to word your shit. And, but it's kind of like you got to do that even with people who just, pick your flowers and you don't like it. Whatever your things are, is you have to start putting yourself out there and saying, don't do this. I don't like it if you do that or whatever. And, sometimes it will be where somebody will think you're an asshole. You got to get comfortable with yourself. You're not an asshole to have boundaries. Like, that's programming to tell you to keep you as a victim. That's where they want to keep you in a victim mentality. So don't stay their victim. And so going out, then, they have a set thing where everybody else is. So you got to drive that set thing. So drove to the thing, but I'm passing through reality bubbles. You're passing through. You can feel it. You'll feel changes. It's trippy. And even when you change into one or another, things will look different. Things will fucking look different. To me, the higher the vibration, the more it looks magical. Like, it looks like you can completely see the 3D part of it. In the other ones, it is like deeper in the dollhouse or something. It's deeper into the reality, so it's more dense. And so things feel heavier and more dense. But it is also kind of fun because then, like go float on the river and all of this stuff. Like, there's things to do. Like, you can see why people enjoy the 3D. Like, there's nothing wrong with being somebody who wants to enjoy the 3D. The thing is like, this 3D experience has been abusive. And you don't want to continue being abused. You want to have a better life. So that is why the awakening. But the actual 3D matrixy life hold on. It's really scratchy. And that's one thing too, changing climates. I changed. It was like each reality bubble had its own or something. It was weird. It was so weird. But that was also a part of it where I was like, oh my God, I'm going into these different, like, it's totally different. God. Oh, that's so scratchy. Let's see. So, and it is when one person goes from one to another, you go into another. It's weird. But, okay, stop, sweetie. So then you go into the other one, and then they are having things in their friend group. Like, they're having a whole shift going on, with people setting boundaries and stuff, and talking and realizing, like, a certain person is doing some really shitty things to a bunch of people, and then everybody, to say, yeah, this is what happened to me, and then everybody is like, well, we don't want to treat each other that way, and, You got to tell the person, you know, call them out on their toxic behavior and tell them that you don't want it involved in your life anymore. So that you, is setting boundaries for yourself. But, going into that reality. So that was totally different. And then went into that one and started doing stuff. And just, the thing would be like, stop and be like, oh, I'm hungry. Like, let's eat or something like that. And it could be a totally different time. It could still be 9:30 in the morning. I was shocked on all of these projects. Like, you start doing it, and you, something that you think would take you a week to do, and you have it done in 2 hours because you're not sitting there watching the time. You're just focused on what you're doing. So it is, that's what I'm saying, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if anything I say makes sense. But anyways, then leaving, going through the next one. Each fucking place I would go was its own energy, its own dramas, its own existence. And so, and for mine, I could see, like, when you talk about manifesting and, what is that? Setting intentions. Okay, so before, like in the beginning, I don't know, beginning of spring, and I kept saying, man, I got to get out of here. I got to get on the road. I got to go help people. I got to do stuff and everything. And it's funny too, because the whole time that I'm doing stuff, I am having serious talks. I'm helping people see things in other ways, planting seeds, and so it really is helping people, but it's in a lot of more physical ways in the 3D, because people are like kind of bound into the 3D. It is very physical reality. And so it is like, I was doing a lot more physical, but that, what the good thing about that is it shows me how much I can do. Like, I thought the day one with my mom, I thought, man, if I can just get through that pile of wood, and that was kicking my ass, and then just get up and do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and then go to the next place. Each day I would think, oh my gosh, this is going to wipe me out. I'm not going to be able to do shit. And then I would get up and do shit all the next day, hard ass shit. And I was like, fuck, we can do so much more. Fuck. And I'm at an age where people, or a lot of people, like, I know fucking people my age who use walkers, who fucking, use canes and shit. Like, it is, and the thing about aging too, is I completely understand aging as a reflection of how you deal with things in life and how you look at yourself, and the chemicals and the toxins and the frequency, that's how they can affect our bodies somehow. And that not taking care of yourself, gets you sicker and sicker and sicker. And just like all this joint pain I'm having, I know what it's from. I know it's environmental. However, the poisons have affected me and stuff. And I mean, these goddamn implants, I swear to God, it's like a haunting of my insecurities. I just cannot wait until I keep already in my own mind. I keep trying to shrink them, like seeing the plastic going away. And it really irritates me too, is because I was very skinny when I got them. And him to put these giant fucking things on my chest was like, I just wanted to just, make the skin not hang. Just like put some little in there. And fucking men and their goddamn. So then, and he even said, you can feel the plastic on the side because you don't have a lot of tissue. Like, that should have been a sign right there. These things don't fit me. You shouldn't have put them on me. And it irritates the fuck out of me. And it irritates me of my own self, you know, my own insecurities, my own, and, you know, my own, not shame, not that deep, but, you know, just the desire to be a better role model to other girls that don't have boobs. It's like, I wish I would have stayed as a better role model, you know, is to, you know, it's okay. Not so insecure, like, well, it's not okay. I better change myself. No, you're just the way you were supposed to be. You don't have to be anything different. And believe you me, when you put these things on you, it doesn't fit. They're not comfortable. They don't fit you because they're not meant to be you. And so all these things that we do to try and change ourselves, to try and, you know, it just doesn't work. And so I do spend time in my mind trying to shrink them. I'll be like, they're not really there. They're not really there. Like, all sorts of stuff. You know, but I don't want to have an emergency, you know, because there's a lot of people who have that happen. I don't want to have an emergency. Like, I know somebody who was roller skating and fell and popped one and had to go in and have emergency. My surgery, though, be like, take out the other one. Don't replace this one. Get this one out of me. Get them both out. I don't want them. But, you know, everybody's got their own stuff to work through. Everybody has their own, you know, state of being, a state of seeing themselves, how they want to see themselves. And it's fluid. It's always in motion. It doesn't matter how you saw yourself last week. You're going to see yourself different next week. So, anyways, going from the different, you know, bubbles and stuff, and then going back into mine and coming back into mine, all of a sudden, when I got back into mine, I felt so much back to being like a ghost or something. Like, it's weird. It's so weird. Like, well, I go in and put on the stuff. It's like, what am I doing? Am I even doing anything? This is like Etch-a-Sketch or something. What the fuck? And so I don't know. It was very obvious to me. And in the aura thing too. So like, I can definitely see energy going outside of the things. Like, and I was just talking about that, and then they keep bringing me confirmation. But she was talking about that too in the in her video she posted last night. Was about, you know, you're gonna start being able to see auras and stuff as a part of the expansion, and that is definitely, I can see the energy. Like, when those comic and the lighting was perfect, you know, because it was so dark, and then the light was just going down on them. So I wonder if other people could see it, but I could see their energy bubble. Their energy went far out from their bodies, and I was thinking, well, you know, I think it is probably because of going up on stage, how much adrenaline and stuff would be pumping. Your energy would be big. Your energy would be pumped up. And so you would be just like, ugh, your energy, you know? And that's what it looked like. It looked like this big, like, energy kind of bubble around them. And it, like, was pulsate out. And then their mouth, every time they would open and speak, it was like a different energy was coming out. It was so trippy. And so it was like this energy bubble, but every time they would speak, this other energy would come out like a sunburst. It was really cool. I think when we start understanding and seeing ourselves more on that energetic level, not on this level, but are putting ourselves out there, are speaking, we are putting our energy out into the world. And it is coming out from inside of us in a different kind of explosive. It's funny, that is like the sunblast things, where people keep talking about these. If you go on any of these people who are really into the Schumann resonance, and they show about the sun flares and where they're coming from and all that stuff, And they, when you see the sun flare, because a lot of people get it on there's a thing you can go watch it, I guess, but there's videos. And when it burst out the same way that that looks is what it looked like when he would open his mouth with his own energy bubble. And then it would come out like that. That was so cool. I didn't even think of that. But it is, but you can't see yours if you're just focused on like, what the guy looks like. Then you're just looking for what he looks like. You know what I'm saying? The energy, the aura, the energy is the soul. So when you stop focusing on the how people look or something and focus on their energy, then you can see. But it wasn't like, I mean, I still noticed the guy's size. I mean, some of them, they talk about their bodies as a part of their routine. So you still notice their bodies and stuff. It's not like you don't notice if they're tall or fat or skinny or, what color they are, any of that stuff, because they usually talk about that. But I don't know. To me, it was definitely something with the color to be able to see it. But, I can see the energy, and that is part of like the 3D thing. It's almost like you're seeing the things, but you see that it is like an energy that is making form. I don't know how to explain it. Everybody will, I think anybody who experiences some of the stuff, everybody would explain it a little bit differently, so it is, that's one good thing about listening to a lot of different people too, is because then you get a lot of different ways of perception. So it helps you to be able to, see things how you want to see them. It just keeps opening your mind to hear more perspective. So, anyways, that to me is this thing that is going to be, and in that Allison Coe thing, if you go watch it, if you don't know who Allison Coe is, she had, back when I very first started waking up, and so it was like back around 2016, it was after my dark night. So I went through my dark night, and then I started looking for, I don't remember how it went. It was like I was looking for something on YouTube, maybe about reincarnation or something. And I was like, I found all of this stuff. I started finding all these people. Like, I didn't even know who Dolores Cannon was. Like, I was back reading about reincarnation a long time ago. And then I just, I've always been interested in it. So I'd always listen to people talk about it or watch shows about it or whatever. But, I didn't know about Dolores Cannon until I woke up. And so, but there was lots of this spiritual community, but I had no idea that the spiritual community had gone off on, I don't know, 3D spiritual community. So, but anyways, when I went in and I was looking for people to listen to, I was like, what is going on? Like, something is happening. Like, I already knew there was a lot happening. Like, I was already having so much people talking to me. I had like being shown, like I talked about, it was like crazy. And I don't remember how they kept showing me, but they kept showing me everybody was going to go through this. And I started telling people, and everybody started thinking I was crazy. And I kept saying, everybody's going to have a come to Jesus moment soon. There's going to be something big's going to happen. And it's to make everybody have a come to Jesus moment. We're going to go to this come to Jesus. I used to say that all the time. And so when I was looking for other people who were, trying to figure out what was happening or whatever, Allison Coe was one I had found, and she does those QHHT things, and then she would go on and talk about them on her YouTube, what people were saying. And back then, she made the mistake of saying the date of a solar flash, and it didn't happen. And so she got so attacked. Like, there was a lot, like, everybody thinks there's a lot of buildup right now. It was just the same in 2016 in our space bubble. In the bubble of those of us who were going through this back then, it was just as intense as the people going through it now. And so, but that's where I was just like, take notice of these dates, but don't put all your fucking bank on them. Like, oh, definitely this is going to happen on this date. People freak the fuck out. It's like time. I was like, let go of time. Pay attention to what's going on. That's what it has to do with. It's an energy. It's this movement. It's this everything flipping the other direction, and we're just, we're at tumbling class, and everybody's doing somersaults to get there. We got a long gym, so. And then once they get down there and they do their somersaults to get to the end, they got to do them to get back. So, this is a process. And so just keep in mind, it has nothing to do with time. It has to do with the movement of the people. How many somersaults has everybody got done? So, so anyways, she kind of went dark for a while. She just didn't do anything. She didn't say anything. She just did her work. And, it was clear she'd been attacked. She had said a bunch of stuff. Like, people were being really mean to her. And she's a really cool person to me. I've been watching her for a while, and she just seemed like really upbeat, really trying to understand what's going on here. And, but, that was part of her journey to be attacked like that. But she was attacked way back. But that's when I started seeing like, oh, there's a lot of people on social media. It's part of their journey. It's a part of their awakening. It's a part of their growing, is that attack. And that can be, so many different things. Like, I could explain that in a lot of different ways. So everything is just very versatile. Everything is very, it's all opportunities for things to play out. But so lately she's been coming on and doing more videos of what has been being said in hers. And the last ones are, ones that I reference a lot, where she had said that this summer there was going to be a lot of burning shit down and tension and stuff. Well, I mean, that is happening. Like, look what happened in France. Like, there is a lot of places being burned down. A lot of places there's absolute turmoil. A lot of places where the money things changed. So a lot of this is already going on. It's not, just because it's not happening as dramatic in America doesn't mean it's not going on everywhere else. So these things are happening. And the sun is sending out all of these solar flashes and shit. So all of that stuff. But anyways, this person who she was doing last night that she posted, they were just saying a lot of the things what I have been talking about. And so I was like, oh my gosh, is, to me, it's always just more confirmation, is like what they're trying to explain or teach me or trying to get me to understand. They'll just keep bringing me information and more information about stuff. And so, but it is like, so we already are in that place of people are becoming into their groups, into their like learning groups of these, it is like these space bubbles. And like how she said that everybody's space bubble thing will become different. Everybody's will kind of ascend in their own kind of thing, like while everybody's working it out, and then it kind of just keeps moving up. And so she said there's going to constantly be people who are going to keep elevating and going up into the higher. She said that a lot of being in the higher, like I could tell going into it, like going into a density. I could feel it. I could feel the density. I could feel the heaviness. I could feel the work that I had to do on my body to do all that stuff, like all of those things. And so, like here, I feel like I'm like fucking air or something. So it has to do with this, your frequent, it is an anchoring. is like the more you focus on that stuff, it holds you into the density. And so the more you let go of things, it's like the anchor doesn't have as much to hold on to. And it is like consciousness anchors itself in to the situation to understand itself. But this is a process. This is a really cool process, really, when you think about it. About, these beings that don't understand themselves, anchored into this thing to try and understand themselves, and then let go. It's like going out into an air balloon, if that's what they're called, air balloons. Those things, those big giant balloons that people float around out there. It's kind of like that. It's kind of just like letting go and just floating up there. And don't be scared. Open water and open space, like, freak me the fuck out. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go up in an air balloon. I don't want to go down in I don't want to go way out in the middle of the water. I am aware that it feels like that in your mind when you are in a place that is unfamiliar. It feels like, like you're out in the middle of nowhere and you don't have any. But it's all about rescuing yourself. It's about keeping yourself. Don't just let go of your mind. Don't think that you don't have control over it. Don't think, because all this stuff is weird. As your body, as you let go of the concept that you are flesh and blood, that you're real, you're dense, you're heavy, you're all those things. As you let go of that, it is like that being out there in open air, in open water. It is kind of like, oh, what am I going to hold on to? Oh, how am I going to stay safe? Where am I going? And what am I doing? Those are the questions. I'm telling you, the main questions you need to keep asking yourself. Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you doing it this way? Why are you doing it that way? It's like, why should be your main thing that you're constantly trying to understand, is why? That's that existential crisis. Who am I? What am I doing here? But getting to that point, those come to Jesus moments of asking yourself that, is when you'll start finding your answers. If you just stay caught up in the dramas, caught up in the traumas, caught up in the distractions, then you don't ever get yourself to ask that question. And that's the question you want to get to, because that's going to change everything in your world. Is to start understanding you separate from this place, separate from who you thought you were. So anyways, it's it's all part of the process. But exactly what she was saying in that thing, I believe, is already happening. And when this girl was talking to this other being, she asked her what year it was. And she said it already had all gone down. Everybody was in their space bubbles, and then some just kept elevating and more kept elevating. But it's 2025. And so to me, when I was listening to that, I was like, oh, this is already, because I'm already going out into space bubbles. I was already saying that, like, I'm going out into these different, like, vibrational bubbles. And then you just go into this space time. The here and now is different. And so, and for her to say that we're there, like we've already gone through all the stuff by 2025. So that's why I 100% believe that this period of time right now, this is when everything is happening. All this stuff that is occurring. And you can find yourself in a lower vibration space bubble if you are around a bunch of toxic people, or you're focused on toxic shit or whatever. So, I mean, it's up to you to realize that heaviness. And it's going to become more and more uncomfortable, because more and more people are going into higher states of consciousness, higher states of vibration, willing to put certain parts of themselves out there, but also not willing to take abuse from the people that we used to take. So, and it's all like this process of occurrences to get you there. But, in 2025, if it is already to that point where, because she was saying it's kind of like too uncomfortable to go back. Like, you can always go down. This is what I've been saying for how long. You can always go down in vibration, but you can't go up. You have to do the work to go up, but you can always go back. And that's why when I have said about like a lot of these people, people call aliens, these multi-dimensional people, that going in, like coming into their crafts and so, and going into a denser place is harder. It's heavier. And so the woman in the Allison Coe video said that she just stopped going. She said, I could go back. I can go back and visit people anytime. They're always there. And that's just like what Bashar was saying, where he was saying it's like these windows or something. You can see the people, but they're in their own vibration, but they're learning from each other. And this girl was saying that it's like, also, I know that I'm not supposed to go in there and disrupt what they're learning. They're learning together. And that's what I keep trying to get people to understand. Like, you're learning together with your group. Like, it isn't, like, nobody's doing things wrong. You're learning lessons together that will ultimately raise your vibration. And if you're pushing the people away who you're supposed to be learning from, that you need to be pulling people towards you who you need to be learning from. Like, I could go out and be mad at anybody. I could sit there and hold a grudge and be resentful and, well, you called me crazy. You said this, you said that. Just keep in mind, for they know not what they do. For they know not what they do. And they are going to feel the pain once they know. It's not for us to go around and to tell people what they're doing wrong. They'll figure it out. They'll feel it on a deep level. I was talking to my oldest daughter for a minute, and we were talking about something, and but it was like, whatever somebody does to you, that does not, people are always reacting to what somebody does to them. That is not going to bother you as much as your reaction. Your reaction is what will drive you insane. Like, you can't believe how impatient you are. You can't believe how angry you are. You can't believe this or that. That is what will eat you up from the inside. That is why you're getting opportunities to bring it up, to purge it out, to witness it, to see it, to try and understand why you do that so you can release it. And that is what is changing your vibration. That is what releases you, what's holding you back. And so it is letting go of all this dead weight that you hold on to, holding on to guilt and judgment and shame and all of that. You just hold it tight. You got to let go of those weights that are holding you down. And all the people in your life right now, the triggers are all there so you can let go of it. But it's a process. So don't judge people who are in these bubbles, who are working shit out. They are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Even the people who are just redundantly just playing, like obsessing and going over and over and over it. We got to have those people, who, are just this nonstop. You're being poisoned, you're being poisoned, you're being poisoned, you're being poisoned, every fucking second of every fucking day. So the government's out to get you, whatever. We've got these certain people who just every fucking, their whole existence. But we need them. That's their role. That is to keep us, it's like when you go bowling and it has to put up those buffers. What are those things? The little boundary things. Like if you're not a good pool player, we went and played pool, bowler, and they put up, because you would go do that when you would go with all the kids. This, like, you'd go as the room mother for the kids or the school or lost kids parties or whatever, and they put up these, like, can't think of what they're called, but they keep the ball in its own lane. So those are kind of like the people who are just like broken records. It's kind of like there are our buffers, our boundaries or whatever. It's not like they're the sheepdogs. They're not trying to push us, but they are. But it is different because it is way more of just to keep us remembering, keep us in line. It isn't, it is different than this controlled herding. So, anyways, all the people have their own parts to play, and everybody has their own path to awakening. Everybody has their own things they're here to learn and grow from, and everything is right there for you. But you have to see it. You have to start looking at it differently. You have to, it's like participating in life in another kind of way. But she was saying like that she doesn't go back and go into other people's lower vibration things anymore. But see, space and time, like it's different in the time and stuff. Like people can get focused on their drama and not even realize time has gone by. So, but that's because they're there to work it out. And it doesn't matter about the time. It matters about working it out. And so it's the working it out is the process that has to be done. So anyways, so she was saying that it is like all we have to do is just go out and then we would just jump. And she says it's like a jump into other realities. We don't have to travel by car and all that stuff, or plane, or all this nonsense that they've been telling us for so long. It is, we'll get to a place where we, to me, it is always like this teleportation thing, but it is like it's like being able to control your mind, to be able to put yourself where you want to be. And she said, like, in the higher vibration, like where she is, where people don't work anymore, they just do their own stuff. All the things she was explaining, it was just like how I keep seeing it, how I keep being shown, like where we're headed and stuff. It is, it's not going to be, it's going to be like little bubble, like community bubbles of places, of people, and it will be like its own vibration. It will be like when we're going, like I had said before, like even people who are all like, all whole trans community where they, some people, could be trans and feel real comfortable with other people. They're real comfortable in their skin. They love themselves. They don't, and they're happy. And they interact with other people, because they're comfortable in themselves. And then you have other ones who are, like to stick to their own kind. And this can be in any group. I'm just using that one because I just saw somebody doing a video. And then, but those people are more comfortable with each other, with people who they have something in common with. And they, they're more in the same place. And that is where these communities will build. And I said, like, it'll be really cool. Like, I think I said this like a year ago. Like, you go around and you're going and traveling and getting to go to different communities and see how different people have built their existence. And, there'll be some that will go to, it'll be like really artsy. There'll be some that will go to, it will be, like a cool place. Like you may go to a place and it's like all trans people, and they get to be comfortable, and they have a community where they all feel love and they are productive in their whatever they do. And so then people, if you want to go there, you go there. If you don't want to go there, you don't have to go there. It's not like anyone's forced on anyone else. Everyone can have their own space. It's not like, it's more of defining who and what you are, what it is you want, than it is anything else, because that pulls you into your group, into your people. And but keep in mind, a lot of your people right now are in the process of healing and defining themselves of who their people are. So, this is just a process. It's just getting started. A lot of the groups are the groups that are falling apart. And so then we have to get to the rebuilding part. But you're going to start seeing in them, you know, like you can be in a community like that's way out and you want to start bringing in people like you. You can start, using social media for, your convenience or whatever to show people, the opportunities out where you are. Showing land, showing homes, showing places, showing how much water, showing how you can grow things, whatever, to draw more people to the place that you're at. You want people who are more like you, more like-minded. The Allison Coe woman was saying that it is like your own, your own existence, your own space bubble thing is it's like you have your own and then you have a community one too. Oh no, you can go listen to her. You can go listen to it. I thought it was interesting. I'm going to probably listen to it again because I was kind of distracted. Just, I don't know, because I was doing other things. But I think I will probably listen to it again because she was saying a bunch of stuff when every time I would hear, I would be like, oh my gosh, I was just talking about that. So anyways, but I am seeing that it is. And so the vibration you surround yourself with, if you find yourself in just constant drama and stuff like that, realize you've got yourself in, a containment of that vibration. And it's up to you to pull yourself free from it. And there is times, I'm telling you, when you make decisions for yourself, you'll feel like you're walking through a door. You're walking through a portal. You're walking into a new vibration of existence. And you have to choose that higher vibration of existence for yourself. And it's not just a comfort zone, because you have to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. You have to be willing to tell people what makes you uncomfortable so you can get comfortable. So anyways, that is just part of the process of becoming who you are and how you want to live. Where do you want to live? How do you want to live? Who do you want to hang out with? What kind of life do you want? This is the time when we're getting to make those big decisions of what do you want out of life, and to me, I know, like, mine will be traveling. Mine will be helping people. And, even though it can seem like, oh my God, I'm going to go do all this work, but it feels good when you're doing it. It feels productive. You feel like the gift of giving somebody something like that, it to me is priceless. It is giving more of your time, your energy to somebody is the real gift, They want us to get caught up on other things, but it kind of like people give presents so they don't have to be present. Oh my God, the way words are. Oh my gosh, there's so much twists of words when you start really. I can't even believe it. I swear to God, day after day, all the time, I could be saying something or thinking something, and then a word, just the word play that goes on. Like when I was just answering or just commenting back with Vortex, and I was saying patience, and then there's patience, and then there's patience, and then they're spelled different. And it's like, what in the holy hell with this stuff, with these words, But it all is twisted. It's all done on purpose. It's all meant to. It's a distraction. It's a control factor. It is like setting spells too, because you speak it into existence. And so many people speak so much negativity, and they speak it into existence, and then they think it's the Almighty. God's got it out for me. It's like, no, you just don't have any understanding of what you're doing. You don't understand your energy. You don't understand much about yourself. So it's time to stop being focused on this, fake ass world, and start focusing on yourself so you can understand yourself, so you can see your power, because otherwise you're misdirecting your energy when you could be so much more productive. So, let me think. There was some other things I wanted to talk about, even like last night when I went to lay down. I was like, oh man, I wanted to talk about that. I forgot. That's what I was saying. There's just like so much stuff. It's just going to have to be like, just come as it comes, But today, definitely, that space bubble thing. And then these people who just keep thinking like, there's an almighty out there. Like I get really tired of hearing like even tarot readers all the time about this. You were chosen. God Almighty himself chose you. This is what you, it's like, that is not how it works. That's just not how it works. There's not this fucking overlord. There isn't this fucking overlords in this fucking place we're at. But there's not a fucking overlord over all of the goddamn souls in the whole goddamn solar system. There is a system of intelligence. There is a system of balance. There is it's just different. It's different than how people perceive it. And there's lots of people that just think, well, you think that, you believe that, that's what you think. Well, okay, we'll see. We'll see. I think there's a lot of other people who I don't fucking know who are saying the same damn things. And I've clearly said, this is not coming from me. This is coming from the beings who have been talking to me my whole life. And that wasn't my higher self. My higher self is there. My guides are there. And also these beings that want to be heard. And that one girl this morning was telling all these people, like all these people need to start channeling more. People need to start spreading these messages. There's lots of beings out there who want to be heard. It's like, we don't need more channelers. We need more people waking up to channel for themselves. You will interpret the messages the way you need to hear them. And so is you tuning in to that universal consciousness, you tapping into the energy that's around you and start participating in the world that's real instead of this fake ass world that you've been, trying to become successful in. So just start, it's all about expanding. And is very archaic. It's very primitive to think there's this one guy up in the sky who sat there and just made all these, like, come on, you guys. Come on. I can't, man. How many fucking people I see say this stuff? I don't get it. I don't get it. The only way you could be thinking that is from programming. You can't be feeling it on the inside. So connect to what's inside. Connect to your feelings. Go with your feelings. And if you are having a lot of feelings of that, then you probably have a lot of dark attachments to get you to feel like you need to be controlled. You need to be told. You need to, each person's on their own path. And every person has to figure that out for themselves. And all paths are not going to be quick and easy. There's a lot going on. And, you've been around for a long time. And you've been doing this for a long time. You just got to get back in the groove of what you do as a soul to expand yourself, to understand yourself, to grow. And that's why you're here. That's why all this shit is going on right now. And so use your time wisely. I'm getting so many messages that are popping up that I can see the energies have changed. And so it is important right now for you to be aware that the energy that you are in is an energy of your choosing. And, and remember too, that things don't always come in the package you expect. So allow things to come and go into that flow and see what's the gift, because there's a gift. So, don't get caught up. Don't be, oh, I know I'm going to do that. That would suck. Even if somebody's like moving, and they're like, oh, I really need help. Can you come help me move? Be like a hell yeah. Hell yeah. And go in and see what's going to happen, because I'm telling you, there is gifts coming in all different shapes and sizes. So don't hold yourself back thinking like, oh, I don't want to go do that. Especially like right now, there's a lot of people moving, a lot of people trying to escape, a lot of like all sorts of shit going on. So don't hold yourself back from experience. Go in and experience life. Experience what you're here to experience so you can grow, so you can go into the space bubble vibration you want to be in. And most people don't want to be in these heavy, dense ones, but you got to purge out and release the feelings and process what is in that space bubble to leave it. And then, and then you have partnerships, characters that you are going in it with. And so if it's like a whole group of you, you know, you're there to help each other to grow. So anyways, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's going on in all different ways for all different people. And so just, don't feel crazy. Keep working on you, and don't get caught up in distractions. Feel the peace of you're eternal. Nobody can hurt you. They can't hurt you. Even when they're poisoning us, we can keep on, pulling ourselves back into like, they can't hurt me. I'm a goddamn hologram. What the hell can they do to a hologram? They can convince me so that I will feel like I'm sick. And then the way they did it before was somehow, I don't know, somehow the convincing us of putting it into our minds, the flesh and blood and sickness and stuff like that is what gets us to be sick. So, release all that programming and start seeing yourself as being eternal, and nothing can hurt you. And you will start to feel better and all of it. So anyways, I will talk to you. I should be back tomorrow morning. I don't know. Maybe I'll be back today. Maybe someone will just keep eating at me, because I feel like there's a bunch of stuff more to talk about. But I think I've talked about this for long enough. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.